Yes, for all.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Karen, do I have to read this public announcement?
Some people may be attending by phone, so I would think you should.
Okay, I will do that. Any citizen desiring to address the hospital board should turn in a speaker card to our board secretary. The citizen comment pertains to an item on the agenda today. The comment will be heard early in the meeting, this meeting. Otherwise, it will be heard toward the end. Speakers are asked to limit their comments to 5 minutes. Vendors, suppliers, or other persons seeking hospital contracts awarded on a competitive basis are reminded that their ability to address the board may be restricted by the terms of the invitation. Lastly, the board has established a claims adjustment review panel comprised of representatives of the administration and legal counsel to review and negotiate settlement claims. Accordingly, the board will not entertain comments or discuss or negotiate claims at this meeting.
And just to make it very clear to everyone, and I think you are all aware, although there may be people who have called in, there will not be an opportunity to make public comment live. We had a public comment email address that was noticed and was open for 24 hours from 12 noon yesterday until 12 noon today. And so I don't think we received any public comments, but there will be no public comments from the floor during the meeting today.
Thank you, Carol Ann.
The printer just woke up.
Board members on the phone, we're just muting everyone, but not the board members.
Proceed. Approval of the day. I ask for a motion approving the orders of the day.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeses and ayes have it. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of March 16th. I ask for a motion approving the minutes and a second for the approval, please.
Second.
Second hearing. All in favor, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The board reports. Britt Reiner,
Yeah.
second report, please. Britt.
Yes, this is Britt Reiner. Subject to developing conditions, this is our currently intended schedule. For Monday, May 18, 2020, from 9 to 10:30, the Governance Effectiveness Committee. From 10:30 to noon, the Finance Committee. From noon to 12:30, the closed session hospital board meeting. From 12:30 to 2, board lunch, issues and financial review. And from 2 to 4, the board meeting. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Britt. Joe DiVirgilio, approval of bad debt and charity care.
Yes, I move approval of the bad debt and charity care for the month of ending March 31st, 2020 in the amount of $35,236,000.
Move. Here a second. All those in favor respond by saying yes, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Joe. Financial highlights, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have here the financial highlights. And just a reminder, we're now 6 months a year, so the fiscal year to date numbers represent 6 months of activity. This first chart shows the significant impact the COVID-19 virus has had on our average daily census. And the chart includes both inpatients and observation patients. We were running in fiscal year 20 well ahead of our fiscal year 19 months, but for March, our average daily census fell well below the March 19 number. You can see the March 2020 number at 596 patients. Similarly, emergency care visits dropped off in March. At the beginning of March, volume in both emergency care centers was strong.
Has joined the meeting.
In March, daily volume was off by about 45%. Our urgent care centers saw an even worse decline. Daily volume at the end of March was off by about 66%. And our first physicians, group physicians, excluding the hospice activity, dropped by about half by the end of March, about a 48% decrease. So we had quite a significant impact overall from the COVID-19 virus. Looking at the March 2020 total revenue, this is for the system in the rating agency format. For the month of March, we had total revenue of $83,128,000 compared to a budget of $96,119,000. Fiscal year to date through 6 months, total revenue of $529,218,000 compared to a budget of $527,036,000. Total expenses for the system, again in the rating agency format, for the month of March, total expenses of $84,748,000 compared to a budget of $87,270,000. This year to date, $590,523,000 compared to a budget of $490,344,000. Systems operating income, again, the rating agency format. For the month of March, we had a loss of $1,620,000 compared to a budget of an income of $8,849,000. Fiscal year to date through 6 months, $38,695,000, which is an operating margin of 7.3%, compared to a budget of $36,692,000, an operating margin budgeted at 7%. Looking at statistics, and this is year to date through 6 months, average daily occupancy for the hospital 609 patients per day compared to a budget of 580. The average acute length of stay 4.33 days, and last year at this time it was 4.28 days. Admissions through 6 months, 22,550 compared to a budget of 22,128. Our surgery cases through 6 months, 12,439 compared to a budget of 13,112. We've had 1,930 births compared to a budget of 1,924. Outpatient registrations through 6 months, 238,089 compared to a budget of 251,245. And emergency care center registrations, 63,787 compared to a budget of 63,711. And our case mix index through 6 months for all patients, 1.8, and for Medicare patients, 1.92. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Bill. Next up is our president's report. David?
Okay, I'm gonna, okay for me, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Okay. So I'm gonna start like I do each, I'm gonna start by taking this off so you can hear me. And I'm gonna look at our organizational report card, fiscal year to date, through March 2020. When we look at our 5 areas that we look at on our report card, first one being the service one, our goal is to have our system patient experience, our likelihood of recommending, to have our number of services of at least 8 being at or equal to or greater than the 75th percentile. I'm happy to report that we are hitting 10 out of 10 of those areas being at or greater than the 75th percentile, and I'll show you the detail here in that in a minute. In the people area, we have a turnover of our part-time and full-time employees that have been hired within the last 12 months, having a turnover goal of 24% or less. I'm happy to report so far this year we are running less than that, so positively at 21.86%. The quality section, we have our goal is to have our infection prevention rate, our combined overall standardized infection rate, being less than 0.93. Just to remind everyone that the national average is 1.0 or expected 1.0, and we are running quite a bit less than that at 0.73. Finance, as you heard our CFO, Bill Wojcik, report, we have an organizational goal of our operating margin being at 6.5%. We are trending lower than that because of our March results at 4.1%. So I think we have more time to figure out how the rest of this year's, that second half of this year is going to go, and that number will probably move around quite a bit. And then finally, under our growth section, we have our strategic growth initiative goals. The first one being our inpatient admissions and observation outpatients. Our goals have 46,070 patients for the year. Since we've had such dramatic change in what our projections look like for the second half of the year, we have not really determined a number to share with the board and that has a lot of confidence to it. So I think next month we'll have a better understanding of that. And the same on our outpatient registrations. We have a goal of having 894,882 registrations. Once again, we're just seeing dramatic changes in that, so we'll report that back to the board next month and hopefully have a more reliable number there as well. Looking closer at the patient experience report card, when you look at the likelihood of recommending in the 10 different areas, in the far left column, middle column being what our year-to-date score is. The first column to the left, the national median score in green, and then the 75th percentile score, which is our ultimate goal. All 10 of our areas have met or exceeded the 75th percentile. It says a lot for the staff that are working each and every day, and we very much appreciate that.
Very good.
During these times right now that we're experiencing through this COVID-19 experience, we are making an effort to keep up to date with our community and our staff. These are just a couple of different examples. And then an SMH-based mask tutorial. This on the left received over 100,000 views within 4 days, posting on social media.
Right.
Our State of the SMH video updates, which we've done 2 now, have also been shared with staff. We would just encourage everyone in the community to come onto our social media platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, or several others that I'm not even aware we have. But to go on there and follow that for the latest updates on this pandemic and what our response is and how the community's coping with it and responding. COVID-related news that you can use. Our website is also another essential use. We have a lot of information on our website, and we would encourage members of the public to go onto that and as often as you can, because we're updating content probably by the hour. I do want to express to the community that how grateful our staff is, our nurses, our physicians, and those others who work to take care of our community each and every day, how grateful we are for your outpouring and support. The Sarasota Memorial Healthcare Foundation has helped SMH obtain equipment and enhanced infection control. The Boys and Girls Club offers free child care for first responders, thanks to Charles and Marjorie Durancic and Gulf Coast Community Foundations. We've had just dozens and dozens of restaurants that have donated meals to the staff. We've had many individuals in the community call restaurants and donate on their behalf to our people as well. And then we've had businesses and individuals and partners that have donated supplies. So we can't tell you how grateful we are for all this and how much it means to our staff that this is ongoing. SMH participates in COVID-19 trials. SMH is one of the first hospitals in the Southeast region to participate in worldwide study to assess the safety and effectiveness of antiviral drug Remdesivir in treating COVID-19. Be given the option to participate in the FDA-approved trial at SMH. COVID-19 positive patients must be hospitalized or on a ventilator and meet other clinical criteria. The hospital is also joining a co-vested plasma clinical trial in coordination with the Mayo Clinic to evaluate whether antibodies in plasma from patients who have recovered from COVID-19 can help newly infected patients. The Suncoast Blood Centers will collect and provide the donated plasma for the FDA-approved trial. SMH and FSU internal medicine resident physicians will collaborate with the SMH clinical research team to help gather data to conduct the research. And we are once again very grateful to Sarasota Memorial Healthcare Foundation for support on this important work. March blood drive draws attention to a shortage. Sarasota Memorial's need for donated blood is constant, and the blood drives play a critical role in our organization's ability to care for community. Precautions are being taken to keep donors safe. So please, if you are able and have the ability, reach out and give blood in this crucial time. Usually, every year, we welcome a new internal resident, our new interns residents to the SMH family and staff. Usually, we have them come in here and introduce each one of them to the board, and they get to tell you a little bit about their background and why they've chosen to be here. Obviously, this year we're doing things a little different, but we did want to recognize our new internal medicine residents to help meet our local healthcare needs. Match day took place on March 20th, and our these 13 new physicians will all
They're kids.
will all be on board July 1st, and we're very much welcome them to our program. In addition to that, as you all know, we also have our emergency medicine residency program full in swing. This year, we welcome our second class of 9 students. So these are all of our physicians that have joined us in our emergency medicine residency program through the MASH program. And they will all join us also on July 1st. And the program will be at full capacity with 27 residents in that program by next year, 2021. Through all this, I am happy to report that SMH-Venice, our Lower Road Hospital, is in full swing. A couple pictures here show some of the progress. So we did have our topping out party this past Friday. When I say party, I think Sharon Roush and Gene Lucas went and met with the contractor and posted up a tree. So we are they are doing incredible work. Unfortunately, without a lot of fanfare this year. But we're very excited about this project, and it's opening in fall 2021. Construction progress on our radiation oncology center. You can see a couple pictures here. We are advancing very quickly on that facility. That's the linear accelerator that's going to be located on University Parkway. Still planning on opening on or around August 1st. So more to come, but we're pretty much there. And construction on our oncology tower on the main campus. If you've driven by the main campus on 41 lately, you've seen this massive project going up. It feels like it's moving up about 8 to 10 feet a day. So we're excited about that. The frameworks on levels 4 and 5 is in process. Utility work continues to progress. And the last phase of related Waldemere Garage construction will be completed this month. The tower remains to be on schedule to be finished in fall of 2021. And Mr. Chairman, that is my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for David? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Chief Legal Officer.
You guys will recall at our last meeting that we talked about the governor's executive order number 2069, which gave boards a great deal of latitude with regard to meetings and the requirements of in-person meetings. And I promised you that I would look at our board bylaws and determine whether there were any changes that need to be made to ensure that your both in compliance with the governor's order and your own internal guidelines. And I really only identified two, and I don't think you actually want to amend your bylaws, but what I'm going to ask is that someone ask for a motion recognizing that extraordinary measures are required in light of the public health emergency created by COVID-19, and that you would suspend the provisions of board bylaws in Article 2, Section 1 that requires that the board meet in a public building so that you can accommodate having both a public meeting and virtual attendance by some of your members, and the provisions of Article 2, Section 3 that sets the minimum requirements for the number of meetings of the standing committees, to understand that the standing committees will continue to meet with sufficient regularity to conduct the essential business of the board, but that it might not necessarily be in compliance with those minimum standards that you set at another time.
I so move.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please respond by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
Yes.
Yes, you have it, Caroline.
That's it. Thank you.
So telephone and virtual attendance is allowed.
It absolutely is.
Any other items for discussion? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe.
Has left the
Thank
meeting.
y'all.
Great, yeah.
Has left the
Good job,
meeting.
Mr. Chairman.
Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone.
Good job, Bill.
Daryl Henry.